unfortunately, probably got to ask, go back a little bit. You didn't play, a few games ago, and then obviously back sort of in a more familiar role. So what was that like for you to not play, I guess? And how did you kind of process that, and then obviously go right back into look like what we've seen from you at most of the start of the year?
Yeah, I mean, God bless him. At the end of the day, Doc is the final arbiter, right? So he can make decisions on whatever he wants, and rightfully so, he's the coach. So that's not my job to worry about. My job is to come out and just be a professional. That's who I am. That's who my character is. And, play when my number is called. So, yeah.
I think that was your first DNP coach decision of your career. What was kind of communicated to you about why that was his decision?
In that moment prior, nothing at all. And, you just take it in swing. At the end of the day, we trust our coaching staff, to make the right decisions on this team and whatever they think can win us games, and especially for a guy like Doc, he's top 5 all time in wins. So, he knows basketball.
Obviously, you played a lot of minutes the other night. Were you given any indication before that game that the DNP City was a 1-game deal, that you were going to be back in the rotation, or did you have any idea what it was going to be like going in?
Yeah, right before the game. Yeah, real brief. Yeah.
Well, you had mentioned it there earlier about just being professional and being ready when your number is called. To that point, when you have a first-time experience, 9-10 years in, the mental part there for you, was that you can flush it, or you flush it because then you find out, okay, now I'm sort of back doing, you know what I mean? Like, how did you kind of stay present and focused on doing the job and being ready when your number was called?
I don't know. I think I just have I don't know. I think that's one of my superpowers. I just forget things and I move on. And, that's what life's about. It's not about dwelling on the past or thinking about the past, because it's all BS. It really doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Unless you killed somebody or it's something that you need to, take it up to God with, right? But, in the moment, it was unfortunate. After the game, it didn't really matter, because I'm not going to let anything, hurt my my positivity or my attitude or my effort. That's a bit attitude and effort. So.
Just for you, that all bench unit you guys use, Doc had kind of complimented. It's like, hey, that was the one unit we had all night. That was the plus, was the 5 bench guys playing together the other night. What did you see in that unit where you're out there with Cam and, it's kind of a mixture of bigs and maybe not a traditional point guard, but you get to kind of fill that role a little bit. What did you see from that?
I don't know. I think obviously that was like our first time ever playing, so I think it's a small sample size. If you look at it, you can understand, why a coaching staff would put that type of lineup out there, and some smart guys that can move the ball. But that was our first time, so obviously it's really about trying to figure out, what to run offensively within a group like that. What guys to DHO with. It's a little bit not formal to, go DHO and look in the corner and go give it to Jericho off of DHO, But, it's just all about like a feel, and it's some smart guys in that lineup that can use their heads a little bit. So.
Had a stretch where you went 8 of 10 right before this little slide. Bob, you were saying something about maybe fool's gold because the teams you were playing during that one stretch versus now. But what do you think caused the flip? Why aren't y'all playing the way you were just a week or 2 ago?
Well, we had Giannis back, right? So that's just another element of how to play. I think we had 4, 5, 6 weeks to play a certain way, and then like try to establish it, because when you got hurt and we had time with this group, we weren't 8-2 good either. You know, we were lost a couple of games because we tried to figure out how to play. So then when you bring back a player that as dominant as him, you know, trying to bring that play style back is it's challenging when you don't have time, you don't have cadence, you don't have the rhythm. You know, and I'm sure it was him to try to figure out, okay, you know, what do I do? How do I play with the group? You know, so that's the sticky part about the NBA sometimes when you don't really have practice time to, you know, really understand what you're trying to accomplish out there offensively to be successful. But, you know, we've had them for 2 games and, you know, look forward to, you know, building that synergy. So.